Cool, cool. All right, we have Nick in the house. Welcome to your 10K club. Well done,
Thank
bro.
you.
Um, what was the biggest challenge that you had before starting with us?
Just not getting any consistency. I actually started about a year ago, and I did one or two 10K months, and I had a bit of momentum, and then I just kind of lost the momentum through a different business venture and choosing the wrong marketing company, and I couldn't get the momentum back. I felt as if I had built up a 3,000 plus Facebook community page. I had 5,000 plus Facebook contacts, although some of them are probably doublers. I just couldn't get any more. I just couldn't get any traction at all. And no matter what I tried, I was trying live streams. I was doing reels every day. I was literally just going through the whole repertoire of things that you can do on your
Mm,
own. And I was getting the odd one or two people signing up. And I felt I had a good product, and I felt that I had a really comprehensive product compared to the big companies out there that really they sign a lot of people up, but none of them seem to succeed.
hmm
I felt that I had a really comprehensive product, and I get lots of good feedback from the people I spoke to, but I just couldn't get any sign-ups. I couldn't get any proper
mm,
traction and exposure, even from my reels. So yeah, it was just the all-round marketing that I was really struggling with.
makes sense. What was the, well, I'm not putting anyone else's service down, but what was the problems that you had with the previous marketing company?
Um, they seemed to set everything up okay, but they took forever to build the funnel, and they had been it was a previous coach who lured me in to sign up for some more money. He obviously teamed up with a marketing company, and he was
Mm,
calling it his new agency, but it was just someone he'd met. And we waited 3 months to get a funnel built. Then I started getting a few leads through, but there was a lot of stuff on my Facebook from people from like um, Thailand and Vietnam. So I don't know where all these leads were coming from. And the leads that were signing up, none of them were answering the phone to me. And then the guy who was my coach, he binned the agency. So he obviously realized there was a problem. I knew there was a problem. And he had to kind of address that. But he said he was going to make good on the money that was paid and give me an extended coaching period, but he had nothing else. He didn't have a next
mm.
level. He started me off, and I give him praise for that, but he had no other level to take me to. He was obviously inexperienced and didn't know what to do next himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we've seen a lot in experience in regards to getting the actual whole thing working together. I mean, like I mean, I've actually done some updates to COA recently, but like I don't think a lot of people realize like how it came about is that I went down that route myself. I paid for someone to build a funnel. They did all the tech, and because they did the tech, they kept everything. So I was paying them on a monthly fee, and it was all my content, it was everything. And I was like, why am I paying on a monthly basis well over like 10K setup? And then like consistently, a couple of grand a month for doing nothing. And so what we do is create you a funnel and then you keep it. And then obviously it's the fine tuning of the message that makes the biggest difference, to be honest, as you start to understand what it is, like it's a lot of people, it's not a lot of people's fault sometimes. They just don't realize you actually have to tailor the message and keep on tailoring the message till it works.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nothing happens. So, out of all of the things that you've experienced with us so far, what have you enjoyed the most? Sometimes people say the setter, sometimes people say like the system, sometimes people say like the support, sometimes people say the assets, sometimes people
Yeah.
say the closer process. What is it for you that's been the most value?
The thing that I really enjoyed the most, and that I think's been one of the best tool I've ever had, was the HVG. Um, I
It
I
is
actually
good.
had a I actually had a PDF,
Yeah.
and I put it out, and Kev got back to me and said, "No, you need to follow the template." And I didn't realize there was a template below the video, so I went back, and when I started reading the template, and I thought, "Wow, this is really good." I started writing my own, and I just kept writing and writing. I literally did it that night in about, I don't know, half an hour, 40 minutes. And I kept,
Amazing.
when I was reading it back, I just thought, I want to buy my own program. It just sounded so good and it sounded so strong. And I've done different sales things. I worked for Angling. We did
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
consultancies,
Cool.
and we did. double glazing driveways, and they obviously have their own sales training. And every time you went to one of these sales courses for anyone, you would hope that they would give you like a little golden nugget, something that would, magic bean, something that would work. You never ever got anything. You would get some things like say this or say that, and you think, okay, I'll try that. But there was nothing ever that worked. And when I got the HVG, it really was like that thing. You're like, that really works. And I've obviously spoke to a couple of my friends and they've read it and they're like, wow, that's really, really good. So
Yeah.
my biggest challenge being a builder to my background, using my hands, not being a kind of IT kind of person, is I need to get that PDF out there to as many people as I can. I want as many people to read that. I feel that if someone reads that compared to anything else they've been watching or any other free training courses they've went, they'll pick me. I just feel they'll pick me every day of the week if they can sit down and read that. I just need to get it out to as many people as I can.
Well done, man. I mean, it's so underrated. The HVG is so solid. It's like people are today think it needs to be this really complicated thing, but the truth is, today more than ever, a simple download written with a very specific structure to set up the problem in a very specific way. It's the easiest to consume. It's the lowest cost per download, and it's just got like no friction. It's so easy to create because if you can't bang out a decent one of them, then you're never going to do, you're never going to be able to create a webinar. So the whole point of doing a webinar today is completely wasted on about 98% of the information industry because it's such a fine-tuned thing that people don't even our front end webinar is 11 minutes long. Like it takes time to refine a piece of content that quick. But do love that. And look, early days and 12.5K month bolting on, which is great. And so one of the biggest things next is just scaling that up. And so when it came to making that decision, even though that you had badly, previous bad experience, what was it that made you change your mind around investing with us?
I spoke to Dave at least 4 times, I think, and obviously I kind of grilled him to the bone. And every time I messaged him, he always got back to me right away. I just really thought, okay, it sounds great, but I've been let down before, and what about this and what about that? And then I would think of something else, and I would message him again, and I did. It was one of those things. I think the first time I spoke to Dave, I thought, right, it sounds like I want to do that, but don't dive in because you've been burned before. And I even had someone working for me for free who he just got everything out. He set up Active Campaign and ClickFunnels the way you guys did, but he took me down the YouTube route and we had a 5-part mini series where all we were doing was telling people exactly how to do it. So obviously you're like, well, why would they pay me then? I've just told them everything they need to know in 5-10 minute videos. So he knew the basics, he just didn't understand the message part of it. And obviously, I wasn't paying him. I was giving him some property education, and he was doing some marketing for me. So he's a really good guy. He knew how to set everything up, but there wasn't any money changing hands. But again, it was a kind of wasted 3 months exercise. Obviously, I paid someone to do a 5-part mini series, which was great, and it looks really professional. But it's not a proper sales tool. It's just telling people exactly what they need to do if they
But
want
could
to.
you tell like you were so close, but yet in many ways so far.
Yeah,
And that is where the majority of the world sit today. They sit in, like my mate can do it for free, or I can learn this thing on YouTube, which is great.
yeah,
And no, I'm not throwing shade at like any of those people because they're doing the best they can. But it's no different to me saying I'm just going to try and figure out how to go and buy land. I'm sure I could figure it out, but why would I bother? It's just like there's someone else already doing that,
yeah,
knows how to do the process, and I don't have time to figure it out. So, I learned very early on it's quicker to just find out, although that, like you will learn just I think today a lot of people they only need a couple of things in order for it to go really well, and the chances of them just getting those little things on their own are never going to be possible. However, like I think that's such a fascinating concept because like you were so close, but yet you're still not there on it, and then the
yeah.
difference that makes is completely different. So look, appreciate that, dude. And look, what would you tell someone who was on the edge of joining?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you just need to look into it. I did a lot of research, maybe not massively comprehensive, but I really looked into the company and who am I going to be dealing with. I looked at different testimonials, and the thing that got it for me was the message. I knew even from doing 50 Facebook reels, some work a lot better than others. Some that you
Mm,
think are great aren't great. Some that you think, you didn't like them, all of a sudden they get 10,000 views. And I
mm,
realized it was definitely down to the message. It was definitely down to what you say. It definitely hits with some people, doesn't hit with other people.
mm,
And and that was the part that annoyed me about previous companies, because as much as they were saying do this and do that, I mean, you look back, some of it's very primary school stuff.
mm,
You need to keep doing reels, put all these posts out. Does anyone want my free PDF? Your message is all wrong. And if you can't
mm,
get the right message, and I don't know how they didn't know that, because it seems very simple. And I think that's, when you just kept refining it, you just kept saying the same thing. And it was the same thing that I needed. I needed someone to help me just get that message out there. And also, obviously, I don't mind doing content. I just don't like doing it every minute of the day. I don't like
mm.
copying and pasting it across 3, 4 different platforms. I don't like when you've not done it for 2 or 3 days feeling under pressure. So yeah, I did believe in that. Just get that one message right, and it is, you need to get the message right. If you're not getting the message right, it doesn't matter how good the product is. You're not going to reach anyone to deliver the product.
It's also, yeah, agreed on that. It's also a lot of people, they can make some organics work and they can get to a certain level with an organic, but how you cultivate a cold message, a cold, audience to purchase off the back of an ad is a very specific way to actually create that message and then test the message and then assess if it's working. Whereas, you can't just pump out a load of ads and just test it like you can with organic posts, pump out loads of and just assess, like, is it getting any reach, whatever. And, reach isn't, it doesn't correlate necessarily to buying. Subscribers and followers don't correlate to buying. Engagement doesn't necessarily correlate to buying. But what correlates to buying is download, cost per download, and then cost per booked call, and then cost per acquisition. So yeah, look, dude, I appreciate that. Let's get you sorted next steps. And big thank you for allowing us to be part of your wonderful journey. It doesn't help without it doesn't work without people like that amazing like yourself. And so let's get you sorted. Let's put another zero on that.